We have 3 commissioners present, 1 absent, and 1 that'll be a little late. Minutes from the last meeting, any corrections or additions?
I have none.
Okay, they stand approved. Financial statement.
Thank you. This is a report of financial summaries, revenue and expenditure activities for the City of Hayes, month ended May 31, 2024. Revenues in May totaled $4.9 million. That's an increase of $2.2 million compared to the same period as last year. Some notable areas of increased revenue when we compare back to May of 2023. Miscellaneous was up $844,000 for the Airport Improvement Fund due to funds received for the first payment on the Kansas Highway Patrol hangar. And CVB transient guest tax receipts were up $267,000 due to the timing of receipts. However, making a period adjustment year-to-date, transient guest taxes up $43,000. Notable areas of revenue decrease: miscellaneous for the general fund was off $207,000 due mainly to the receipt of the Jack Samples estate funds at this time a year ago. And miscellaneous revenue was also off in the new equipment reserve fund, $21,000 for the sale of mowers on Purple Wave at this time last year. Expenditures in May totaled $2.7 million. That's an increase of $242,000 as compared to 2023. Some notable areas of increase. Leading the increase mentioned above was a third payroll in May. That equates to a total of $456,000 across all funds. IT new equipment and other contractual was up $56,500 due to the budgeted purchase of an SUV as well as licensing for Office 365. Water reserve expenditures rose $272,000 for the Worth development infrastructure as well as the ongoing 2024 water line improvements. And one notable area of decrease, you may have noticed credits totaling $695,000 to airport improvement expenditures. This is the FAA grant funding received on the SRE building under construction. Month to date, general fund sales tax collections were at $837,000. That's an increase of $17,700 or 2.2% compared to last year. Year to date, sales tax collections were at $3.9 million, down $51,000 or 1.3% as compared to last year. The 6-month average is at negative 7.7%, which was a year-over-year decrease of 3.4%. Year to date, county sales tax collections were at $465,725. The report of top 10 quarter-to-date sales tax collections by classification was down $73,252 or 2.4%. One large drop was in electric, solar, wind gas category by 29%, which we confirmed is due to a drop in gas prices that impacts both gas and electric revenues. These top 10 represent 73% of the total sales tax collections for the running quarter. Finally, the total par value of the U.S. Treasuries in May was $32.355 million with a weighted average maturity of 4.7%, up 1.5% from a year ago. The total of the portfolio of certificates of deposit on May 31 was $33,161,360 with a weighted average rate to maturity of 5%. Total balance of the money market account on May 31 was $6.5 million with a yield of 4.158. That's up 1.6 from a year ago, and total investments were down $2,740,000.
I move approval of the financial statement.
Second.
It's been moved by Commissioner Reuter and seconded by Commissioner Barrick. Any other discussions or questions for Kim?
I have nothing.
If not, we'll take a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? I was remiss in not welcoming everybody. It's always nice to look out and see a room full. There's usually nobody there, and we feel all alone. But it's nice to have you all here. We're to the area on the agenda where we look forward to citizen comments. Is there anybody here that has? Please.
Madam Vice Mayor, I am Vance Chartier, Director of the Kansas Mercy Boxcar Museum. And this year we are celebrating the 75th anniversary of the arrival of the Kansas Mercy Boxcar to Kansas and Hayes. And we're having a celebration on July 20th at 2 p.m. And Don Yost is handing out invitations to that. We are also asking that the City Council do a proclamation to read something like this. I've already given a hard copy to Andrea so that they can wordsmith it and put it on city letterhead. Whereas the people of the United States, including Kansas, sent 300 boxcars of food and grain as part of the friendship train in 1947 to aid starving people of France. as they recovered from the destructive effects of World War II. And whereas the people of France sent 49 boxcars in 1949 filled with 50,000 gifts of personal and cultural significance, such as children's dolls, paintings, porcelain, manuscripts, and other types of gifts, as a way of to say thank you to the state of Kansas and the other 47 states of the United States, and for the District of Columbia and Hawaii to share as part of the Merci train, or gratitude train. Whereas the state of Kansas received their boxcar gift from France on June 14th, 1949, and it took a 120-city tour in 140 days, with it ending in Hays, Kansas on Armistice Day, November 11th, 1949, which is why we selected July. It's kind of in the middle of the arrival and the end, where it is the main attraction in the Armistice Day Parade. Whereas 2024 is the 75th anniversary of the arrival of the Kansas Merci Boxcar, the Society of 40 Men and 8 Horses, and the Friends of the Kansas Merci Boxcar and Museum Society will be holding a 75th anniversary celebration on July 20th, 2024 at 2 p.m. at the Merci Boxcar and Museum's home in Veterans Park, 1305 Canterbury, Hays, Kansas 67601. Therefore, we, the City Council of Hays, Kansas, proclaim July 20th, 2024 as Kansas Merci Boxcar Day in the City of Hays, and encourage the citizens of our city to visit the Merci Boxcar and learn about the unique history of the Kansas Merci Boxcar.
Thank you very much. That would be signed by the mayor, who isn't here tonight.
Yep.
Or he may be later, but if you've left it with Andrea, that's what we need to
Yeah.
do.
And we definitely would like the mayor to read it at the actual ceremony.
At the ceremony, certainly.
Yes.
Thank
And
you.
I do want to say a heartfelt thank you to the City of Hays, because they have been a huge supporter of the Kansas Merci Boxcar, and we wouldn't have that wonderful home in Veterans Park if it wasn't for everything that the City of Hays has done for us.
We appreciate your comments. Thank you. We appreciate the opportunity to be able to do it as well. Thank you.
Thanks for the invitation.
Merci.
Okay. Any other citizen comments? Anybody else?
You gotta tell me, Toby, what I gotta do. I'm kind of nervous. I'm with the Hays Lions Club, and we just celebrated our 100-year celebration from 1924 in Hays to 2024. So we're very proud of that, and we've been in the community 100 years and have had a great, with the city of Hays, helping us, well, just being there for us. I gave them a packet and it says, can I just read it? You want me just to read it?
Whatever you'd like to do.
Okay, back in 1978, the Northridge Park looked more like a vacant lot than a recreational area. The Hays Lions Club was interested in the idea of a project to help the community with the park. With the help of the City of Hays and the Hays Lions Club, the Northridge Neighborhood Park has a physical fitness trail, shelter house for picnics, many trees planted by the city and Lions member donations, and state-of-the-art playground equipment, costs of shared by the City of Hays and Hays Lions Club. The share of the expense of these projects came from funds from our Pancake Feed in the beginning. Today, the Hays Lions Club has been in our community for 100 years, with several fundraisers such as Pancake Feed, Golf Tournament, and Oktoberfest. Not only do we have fundraisers, but we also help with the Salvation Army bell ringing. And one of our members had new houses built for the ringing of the bells. We do vision screenings at our local and surrounding schools. All of our proceeds from our fundraisers stay in our community for those in need. We award approximately $11,000 to $12,000 in grants each year. Also, when special needs arise, we try to help. So today, the Hays Lions Club, and I don't know if any of you are aware where our Lions Club park is. A lot of people don't. You say, come see our park. And they say, where is it? We don't know that the Hays Lions Club has a park. It's behind where Whiskey Creek used to be. They're at 33rd and Skyline. And right now, it says the Daniel G. Rook Park, sponsored by the Hayes Lions Club. We would like to see if we could change the name to the Hayes Lions Club in remembrance of Daniel G. Rook. So that's why we're here. And it's a lovely park. We've helped. I've got to say the City of Hayes and the Parks Department has done a great job in all your parks. I think we have 7+ parks in Hayes. Am I correct, Toby? I think there's, I think
Jeff.
I believe there's more than that.
there's more than that, but I would say of those that are more equipped are 7. But you can see in the packet I sent, there are parks that are named after the Kiwanis and after the Optimist, and I just feel like we'd like to see it say Hayes Lions Club.
We appreciate you making the request. That resolution to pass that park name to the Northridge Park to Dan Rupp Park, well, here comes the mayor. That was done in 1998.
Yes.
And Dan was the longest-serving mayor and continues to be the longest-serving mayor in the city of Hayes, though he's not with us anymore. It would certainly be taken into consideration unless you want to start a discussion on it today.
I say, well, let's go back and look at our information that we have in the packets and whatnot, and we can talk about it at a later date. I don't want to make a decision without looking at everything first.
And I agree with you. I don't blame you for not wanting to look at it, but we have several members that buy trees for that park. And we have planted many, many trees. We enjoy that park. We've helped with that park along with the city. And, yeah.
We have an iris garden we put in.
Yes, Ed Dietz's wife. The Dietz's put this iris park that she had all these irises in her yard. So we moved, the family moved them there. So it's beautiful. But it's a beautiful park and a lot of people. I went up there a couple of weeks ago, I was driving around. There were a lot of people there from out of state with their children and their dogs. And they were really enjoying that park. So it's more quiet than some of the others.
I think it's always been that way. I think it's a lovely park, and we appreciate everything the Lions have done, as we do all nonprofits that do park stuff in Hayes. I wish I could sometime sit down and tell you how much investment each nonprofit has put in the parks that have their name on it. It's significant. Commissioner Barrick, do you have any comments?
Oh, I think it's certainly worth taking into consideration. I think because all of the nonprofits, you know, if they have their name on a park or if they've chosen a name for the park, it's worth considering. I just had a chance to go visit with the Lions Club on their 100th anniversary,
Yes,
and I learned a lot. And the most shocking thing, though, is I looked at the 100-year certificate of all the people that originally signed it, and I missed Jerry Moran's name.
You wasn't there?
He wasn't there.
On that 100-year
I
club?
learned that he's only been in it for 41 years.
Okay.
So
He served as the
So-
president also.
I learned lots of things. I thought it was great, but it was I learned a lot, and it's a great group of people.
Thank you.
So are we in agreement? We'll discuss it at a later
think-
time
I
and
think
bring it back to
Let
the
us
table.
know then.
Okay, you bet, Priscilla. Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for bringing it.
Thank you.
Mayor, we're on
Citizen comments?
consent agenda. No, we're done with
Oh, we're
citizen
done with
comments.
citizen comments, okay. Take this away from her. She won't give it back.
You saw how easily I gave you
Yeah,
that
I did.
consent agenda.
Okay, next item on the agenda would be and thank you, Vice Mayor. Consent agenda, mayor appointment recommendation, and this would be Brian Garrett to the Hayes Area Planning Commission. And this is just for a recommendation right now.
Move approval of the consent agenda.
Second that.
Motion by Commissioner Jacobs, second by Commissioner Reuter. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes 4-0. I take your pen, sorry. All right, next item on the agenda, property liability coverage renewal 2024/2025.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Kim Rupp, Director of Finance. A little housekeeping item today for you real quick. The property and liability coverage renewal. I wanted to go over some property value changes briefly. Buildings increased 8.6 million. Vehicles were up 26,000. Equipment increased 630,000. Other property rose 64, and liability payrolls were up 84,000 on those. Big portion of that in buildings was the new fire station, and then other increases were adjustments made for inflation. The renewal for 24-25 is an increase of 84,000 or 22.6% in contribution. Along with that, NPR's property deductible is changing effective July 1st, 2024 for all members. With the current state of inflation costs and the continued increase they're seeing in deductibles across the industry, NPR made the decision to increase all member deductibles to include a $25,000 per occurrence wind and hail. IPI's other carriers in the industry, or insurance planning's other carriers in the industry, are calculating property deductibles starting at $50,000, sometimes per building, accompanied with a separate wind hail percentage deductible. In addition to these higher deductibles, we're seeing property rates near double what NPR is offering. And there are other carriers that have left the area entirely, especially on the municipal side, and have decided to no longer even cover them. Having said all that, NPR continues to provide us a good product for our property liability coverage. They are a true risk manager for us. They provide additional services that include training and symposiums, as well as the Milos Active Shooter Simulator, which I think some of you have taken part in. We also intend to renew the relationship with insurance planning. They and Taylor, who was here last week, continue to be an advocate for us on our behalf. And as well, we're happy with John Scheck's insurance claims administration that he's been handling for us. So overall, we're happy with those products. Don't have really anywhere to go, so that's about all I have for you tonight. The options would be to renew that or provide us with other guidance, and this would be our action requested tonight.
I move we authorize the city manager to renew the 2024-2025 property liability coverages packages in the amount of $454,221 to be funded from the intergovernmental insurance and surety line item.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Jacobs, second by Commissioner Merrick. Any comments?
You know, the upheaval in the insurance industry right now, particularly in the state of Kansas, is just unbelievable. I think that we're getting the best deal we can possibly get, and what I'm most impressed about is your comments about service. That's so important, and I think we're seeing it across the board, whether it's homeowners insurance or anything else in our area. It's just getting crazy. So appreciate all the work you put in this.
Thank you.
I just, like I said last week, it's nice to keep it local, and they do a great job for you guys. So, and thank you for what you do working with them.
I just always wondered why we have inland marine, and shipping insurance here on land, in
Haven't seen
Hayes,
that.
where we have cargo out there in the ocean.
That's because we're bringing water here.
Yeah, we're bringing water.
See?
There we go.
You
I like
got two
it.
of them.
That term is changing next year, and I wish I didn't know. I've often wondered.
Good points. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Passes 4-0.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you, Kim.
Next item on the agenda, resolution evidencing an intent to issue industrial revenue bonds, Grove Community Center.
Good afternoon, Colin Belzer, Deputy City Manager. So I think we're all aware that Grow Hayes is proposing to build a planned residential development north of Hayes Med. The proposal currently anticipates 12 multifamily apartment buildings, 8 duplex structures, and 50 single-family homes. And the vision is to develop this site into a housing development focusing on retirees, but not exclusive. And the housing will range from simple 2-bedroom townhome units to larger detached garden homes. Also included in the development will be a community senior daycare facility, which will be facing Canterbury Drive. The estimated cost for this new facility is $6 million, and groundbreaking is scheduled for July 11th, with construction estimated to begin in August. So here's a location of the site, which I'm sure we're all familiar with, but at the corner of 27th and Canterbury. And then on the right is a rendering of the site plan, and then where the star is located is the approximate location for the community center. You can see an exterior rendering, and then on the right is a site plan. This will be the location of the daycare area, while the middle and the right half would be more the gathering spaces available for the community. So industrial revenue bonds, they are an incentive granting vehicle that cities use and issue as a conduit to private developers. IRBs do allow for property tax abatement or sales tax exemption on materials and fixtures, furniture, and equipment for new construction or remodel of projects. This particular project does not meet the statutory requirement for a property tax abatement, so they are just seeking the sales tax exemption. Industrial revenue bonds do not affect the city's debt limit. They are not, do not require taxpayer commitment, and it's solely the responsibility of the developer. The estimated benefit to Grow Hayes would be about $111,000 that they'd save with this IRB. And what we're doing tonight is you're just issuing a resolution of intent. An actual IRB does not get approved till after the project is built. So if this resolution intent were to be approved, then they'll be able to get a sales tax exemption certificate from the state. So when they buy materials, they'll have that exempt. And then once the IRBs are issued, then it's finalized. But if for some reason the IRBs don't get issued, then they have to pay back all that sales tax that was exempt to the point. So the developer will advance all costs of the project. And as I mentioned, an IRB does not count against the city's debt limit. It does not affect the city's debt rating, and it does not require taxpayer commitment. All the city is a conduit issuer, and payment obligations solely belong to the developer. So your options are to adopt the resolution, decline to adopt the resolution, or provide us other direction. And the action requested is to approve the resolution.
I move to adopt resolution number 2024-013, evidencing an intent to issue industrial revenue bonds.
Second that.
Motion by Commissioner Barrick, second by Commissioner Ritter. Any comments? I think we've talked about this a few times.
Just a few.
All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes 4-0.
Thank you, Colin.
Thanks, Colin. Next item on the agenda, advanced metering infrastructure, AMI, award of bid.
Jeff, you've already set the record.
Okay, somebody time me. Good afternoon, Commissioners. Jeff Chrisman, Director of Water Resources. The need to replace the current touch read AMR system for water meters has been discussed and researched by city staff for the last decade. On January 31st of this year, bids for design and installation of a new AMI water meter reading package were open. The new system being recommended from Core and Main of McPherson, Kansas, for an upfront cost not to exceed $4,448,672. Currently, to accomplish monthly meter reading, 4 water resource staff members walk and touch read every meter using a handheld wand and computer. This is done every Monday. We have 4 routes. Each reader walks and touches a little over 500 meters. That is Adam, one of our senior maintenance workers in the photo. This handheld device collects the water usage data to be submitted to the city clerk's office for utility billing purposes. Manually touch reading meters can take 1 or more business days depending on the weather conditions. Heavy snow has caused some issues for our readers in the past, and delay readings causes things to snowball, pardon the pun, out of control, and it's not as efficient as it could be. AMI, or Advanced Metering Infrastructure, is an integrated system of water meters, communication networks, and data management systems that enable two-way communication between the meter endpoints and the utility itself. Unlike AMR, AMI doesn't require our personnel to collect the data. Instead, the system automatically transmits the data directly to the utility billing software company via cellular data or radio frequency. Unlike today, where meters are read every 30 days or so, this technology provides us continuous monitoring, allowing staff to improve our operational efficiencies and proactively detecting malfunctions or leaks and recognizing problems with meters and water usage. Additionally, this technology allows utility customers to monitor their usage in real time and providing conservation and consumption benefits for both the city side and the consumer side. On the bids, since early 2024, city staff with the Department of Water Resources, Finance, IT, Project Management, along with HDR Engineering Company, evaluated all the proposals we received, and we looked at a lot of factors. 10 submittals were received. With the help of HDR Engineering, staff narrowed that pool down to 3 finalists. As the vetting process progressed, select companies were invited to provide in-person demonstrations in this room of the products that they provide. Eventually, we narrowed the list down to potential AMI vendors to 3 companies. This process was an extensive process using what's called a scoring matrix tool at a couple different levels, and many hours were spent by city staff evaluating the best possible option for the city. Some of the tools that we considered, or factors we considered: company history, references, meter and data transmitter technology, data security, training and support services provided by the company, as well as cost being one of the most important. Core and Main is the authorized distributor for census meters in Kansas. They have 3 local branches in Kansas and a dedicated local salesperson that we are very familiar with here in Hayes. They have 2 AMR, AMI specialists locally and a larger corporate team to assist. And when they came out in March and they did their demonstration, which was impressive, they had 7 members of their team here to answer our questions. Core and Main, who carries census, their submittal included the installation of electronic water meters and an AMI system equipment for that upfront cost not to exceed $4,448,672. The proposed system that we chose would use a radio frequency system allowing meters to upload real-time data to 2 collectors in the city attached to the water tower near the Sternberg Museum, as well as one attached to the water plant. We did verify, and I verified after the meeting last week again, that those 2 collectors would cover all areas of the city, and there's plenty of room to expand as we continue to grow. This data can be transmitted to the utility billing office every 15 minutes, providing on-demand meter reading. The more frequent the data transfer, the less life we could expect from the batteries. In a fixed-based system such as this, the radio will transmit hourly readings every 4 hours or 6 times per day. This is much better than every 30 days. The battery life is 20 years on both the meter and the radio. Configured, and like I said, it's going to be configured to that factory setting, but we can, in some instances, choose to go to 15-minute reads. Maybe there is a higher usage area or a critical asset, a critical building, maybe the hospital or something. We could do that, but this would transmit set every 4 hours or 6 times per day. The system also includes data analytics software that include water conservation tools that'll be extremely important for the city, or for the city's continued water conservation efforts for both the city side and the customer side. We are the conservation leaders for the state and beyond. We need to continue to evolve and improve our efforts, and this adds a significant tool to our toolbox. Leak detection, high usage alarms, pressure indicators, water temperature, customer service, etc. It's a pretty good size list of things that we get with it. The city dashboard has subcategories that are listed on the right side of this visual. Again, this is on the city staff side. So one of the things that we may see, this is one of the dashboards. This gives an example of what city staff would see when they open it every morning or 4 times a day. You can go to it and it'll give you alarms. In this scenario, this community has 7,327 meters. For us, it'll be about 8,500. I kind of explained last week, 69 orphan meters. That just means that that transmitter that's on that meter is not communicating properly, and that allows us to go out, hey, there's 69 of these exceptions, let's send city staff out, let's get it fixed today, rather than waiting 28 more days when that meter gets read and it's like, oh no, there's a problem there. So that will help us a lot. 14 show inactive usage, so the meter's not been using any water. The screen alone, in my opinion, would save our deputy city clerk precious time. Each week, she has to manually comb through about 2,000 plus readings looking for high, low, or no usage, just to name a few exceptions. So I think that would be a valuable tool. Here's another example for another screen. On the city side, the 37 customer leaks right there, that could be a toilet that keeps running and filling and off and on. And I used the example last week of a toilet in the basement where maybe people don't go down very often. You don't know about it, this will tell you, or us, if there is a problem. Maybe a meter that's running that never turns off. It just has continuous water flow through it. Why is that? What is going on? Also, another example, 31 high flow alerts. This would be a significant flow over normal usage. So in each of these spots, we can actually, staff would be able to click to drill down for more detailed information. The alert system will generate a map showing staff where alerts are located. This will assist staff when they are doing their investigations of those alerts. What I like about this is, let's say there may be a water main break in an area that we don't know about. Citizen doesn't see it. They don't call us. It may be underground. You know, we have those that don't even come up for a while. There might be a bunch of alerts in an area, so that gives our staff the ability to go out and maybe find something quicker than we are right now. The customer side is very important. This is an example of what the customer portal would look like. It's customizable to tailor to our like and our feel. We can add our logo. We can customize it to look like our city web pages. We can put announcements on the right side. We can change those announcements. Customers would be able to manage their own accounts. They pay their bills electronically online, similar to how they can pay online now. This would involve enhanced customer service tools, updated in true real time. As that meter's been capturing data, it updates. It's great for customer service representatives. They can actually go to a screen that mirrors what the customer sees. So if they call in, they have a problem, they can look at it and see what they're seeing on their end. And I think that's important. This one example here that I show, this has multiple accounts. So it could be a business owner or multiple business owners or property managers, landlords, and they can see all their accounts in one location. This is an example of the customer consumption side. So what they see, what they can see from their smart meter. So top left side, third link down, customer smart meter access. They can access hourly, daily, and monthly consumption data. Customer can analyze their data usage much more efficiently. Like I've said before, you could look at it today or 3 or 4 times today versus getting your bill 30 days later and going, where'd all that water go, or what's going on at my house. They can also monitor against daily temperature and rainfall on one screen. That's that line in there. There's some additional information, that tools that are available. They can opt in for automated notifications and alerts by clicking on a settings button. They can opt in to receive emails, voice calls, or texts for leak alerts, or if they're exceeding some limits they put on their consumption or billing thresholds. If you go on vacation and shouldn't be any water being used, but you get an alert on your phone that says you have water being used, you can set that notification that you're going to be on vacation, and that will help in case there's something going on. So basic, on the right side, there's some other tools, basic bill projections. So for this example, it says it's day 5 of the billing period. That customer's used $60 worth of water, which I think is good. And then directly below that, it's also, it gives you kind of weekly comparisons. You can look and see how much water am I using, or what is my bill this week, maybe versus what last week was or the previous week. So there's some additional tools there that I think are pretty much needed. The other thing about this, and there's a service request, it's one of the links on the far left side. Instead of calling, which they can still call and talk to customer service, they can submit a request. They have a service request, a work order. Maybe they notice their meter can is broken, the lid, and they want to, instead of calling somebody, they can just click on that. That would send an email to us letting us know that there's a problem, or they are moving out and they want to disconnect, or they want to give us a forwarding address for their billing. Those are some things that they can do, just to name a few. And then obviously they can make their payments. We are familiar with the Census brand of meters. 70% of what's in the ground currently is Census. Census AMI systems are in Kansas. We list a few municipalities there, and then there's some more that are on that map, so that they are across Kansas. Also, as most everybody knows, AMI is Census AMI is used by Midwest Energy with their gas electric, so it's a familiar system basically that they have, would be similar to what we would be using. I didn't bring my prop this week. I apologize. I could run out to my truck. I mean, if you wanted me to.
We've got the
but,
time. Yes.
the photo on the left is the old Census meter and was recently taken out of the system. The touch read transmitter and wires attached to the top of that meter. That goes up to the meter lid, and that's that black round thing that you see on the meter lid, and that's where they touch read it. It's going to be kind of similar, but on the right side, that's a new electronic meter. A similar RF transmitter would come out of that meter, basically go up to that same touchpad. It would be replaced. The meter lids don't need to be replaced. And that will actually transmit the data from that meter out to the collector, and then up to the cloud, and then back down to the city's data management system. Installation and warranty, if approved, this would be a third-party vendor installed through Core and Main. Core and Main has a company called VPO that they work with. That's what they do. They do installations like this. It should be completed mid-2025 for this project. The meters and the transmitter devices will have a 20-year warranty. We will get 100% of the replacement cost of any meter up to 15 years. After 15 years, it's prorated up to 20 years. So just an example, if a meter goes bad and it's a 20-year-old meter, we would pay 70% of the cost to replace that meter. We would still get a 30% benefit up to 20 years. After that, there is no warranty.
So the 20 years is just a minimum warranty? 'Cause
Yeah.
it only, so 15 years is the maximum warranty when
There
you
you go.
get it all?
Yep, it is a good warranty and it's a good product. The bid being recommended is not the low bid. However, as you can see in the attached bid summary, Core and Main's system is the most cost-effective over 20 years. This includes upfront deployment costs plus annual costs over that 20-year period. Core and Main's bid is approximately $551,000 under the 2024 capital improvement plan budget of $5 million. We will use a utility bond will eventually be issued to pay for this project by taking advantage of an expiring 2009 utility system bond payment that was used to make some water and sewer improvements back then, and that actually falls off at the end of this year. So when that falls off, we issue a new one that will be somewhat similar to that. We would continue with a new utility bond payment. Both water distribution, production and distribution budget, and the water reclamation and reuse budget, those would contribute to that annual debt service. And again, we would do that for a 20-year bond. In addition to the request to award this to Core and Main, city staff is also requesting to hire an AMI software integration project manager from Tyler Technologies. Tyler Technologies is our city utilities billing software company. This project manager will ensure as seamless a transition to the new meter reading and billing process as possible. This expense would not exceed $35,000, and their project manager does this type of work, and they have worked with Census before as far as to help integrate into the Tyler technology system. I mentioned this last week too, efficiencies that we will gain by doing this project. Here's just a few. Obviously, additional conservation tools I think is important. Repurposing of our staff on Mondays and throughout the week. Mondays are typically just water meter reading days. That's so every single Monday. We can do some valve exercising with our water main valves. We can increase our in-house maintenance of our sewer maintenance route. We can continue to do fire hydrant maintenance. We have 1,100, and I've mentioned this before, but we have some that are bagged with a yellow bag. They need to be have maintenance done to them. So there's additional maintenance beyond the ones that are bagged that we can work on, but it's non-critical maintenance items on some of those. And then, as I had mentioned before, the city clerk's office, significant time is spent on meter reading related activities. And we expect that a future process will reduce that workload, but allow them to work on other office-related items for customer service. So I've kind of mentioned the financial consideration. This project, the utility bond would be issued on an expiring bond, and then the project would not exceed $4,483,672. So you have three options: approve the bid from Core and Main and hiring a Tyler Technologies project manager, reject the bids, or direct us to otherwise. And this is the action I'd request.
I move to authorize the city manager to enter a contract with Core and Main Census in the amount not to exceed $4,448,672 for design and installation of an AMI system and hiring a project manager with Tyler Technologies at a cost of $35,000 to be funded from utility bond proceeds.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Reuter, second by Commissioner Barrick. Any comments?
How long is the project manager hired for, the $35,000? Does that last for a month, 6 months?
It should be for the duration, but Kim, can you?
Till full integration.
So it'll be a year?
So
So you
not
said-
necessarily, because once we're going to be following the installation, so they're going to do it on each cycle. So as they put the meters in the ground, we'll be integrating them into the system. And so by the time they're done putting meters in the ground, the system will be integrated. And So shortly thereafter, we'll be fully integrated, fully processing. So I can't tell you a number of months, but it'll follow the project. We have some support after the fact then too, but I don't believe it'll be a year. I don't think it'll take a year.
I was trying to remember last week you said that it was going to be about a year before all of the water meters were replaced.
No, and it won't be that we have to get through all of them for the system to start. They'll be able to do, like Kim said, probably a cycle at a time. And we'll have to work that out if approved. We'll have to work that out with Core and Main, Census, and Tyler. But I expect that we'll start seeing portions go online and then just right behind it. But I don't see why by mid-2025 we wouldn't be completely done.
So my questions revolved around that, and you've answered most of it. I think it bothers me that Census doesn't provide somebody on site for the whole time and doesn't cost us $35,000.
Don't confuse, this 35,000 is for the Tyler side, so this is the utility billing software project manager.
Yes.
Okay.
He can answer the census, whether there's a census project manager. on
They're
site.
going to be on site.
Census, they'll have somebody on site working with the installer.
Very good.
They work with the installer, and yes, Tyler is due to the integration and the use of the portal on the Tyler side.
That was my confusion.
We have to make the
Okay, that-
meters talk to the software.
Yes.
So,
And they're totally separate, so we have to integrate.
Got it. I appreciate that. And there's no rate increase coming because of this activity, because of this action.
Correct. There's a bond rolling off
Right.
that will be able, and that bond payment's going to be slightly less even
Good.
for the new AMI system than what both water and water reclamation have had in the years past.
Very good. Very good. Thank you.
the installers. Will they be working, I'm assuming, hand in hand with staff to make sure once they're gone, they know how to maintain it?
There will be the system from the portal side on the city side, the how to install everything will be trained on all that information. There's also some ongoing training for all of our city staff. But Census will be here with their third-party company, and it's a pretty slick process. They use computers that will upload data to us every day so we can see their progress as they're moving throughout this installation process. And as I mentioned last week, Mayor, we'll work to come back and provide information, not only to you, but we will work to provide information to our customers. So they are aware of what's going on.
You answered the water rates. You brought something up about like pay online. I think I asked this last week, but there's many, like my dad's 86 years old. I mean, he doesn't do anything online. They'll still be able to do it. I mean, just like normal, right?
Yes, yep,
So
absolutely.
because somebody was asking me that today, and I said I don't see any change, but now if they're wasting water, we can maybe help them out and save them
Right.
money.
Yeah, we can see those things online. They can provide us alerts, and we can set some thresholds. So if we see something that looks
I guess not I need to rephrase it. Not wasting water. If they have a leak, we can find
Right, we
out
can help
faster.
them.
You can help them
rather
potentially
than
save
30
money.
days later and
Right.
they have high usage. And
Yeah, I love that.
It will help save water usage.
This is not going to eventually eliminate paper billing,
That's where I was going.
That
potentially?
would be not my question.
We intend on going to e-bill. That's another module within Tyler Technologies that we'll have to add, but we intend to add that, and we do intend to go to e-bill.
Will
We're
people
gonna-
opt into that?
I'm sorry?
People would opt into email.
Correct, so we're going to let the customer decide.
Right.
So at this point, we don't intend on phasing out paper billing yet.
But
Just-
can
just
they
some-
if they wanted it now?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Not now, but
Not now.
once we're
just eventually.
converted,
Okay.
yes.
Jeff, when they have it installed, when you get the updates of, hey, I'm on vacation, I'm still using water and whatnot, how do they determine, obviously they know how to do it, how do they determine what baseline normal is?
My best word is algorithm. There's algorithms that are used and there's software in it. So and I hope I didn't misunderstand your question, but if I'm on vacation and I go in and I go to the customer portal and I say, notify me if there is any usage. And that meter starts showing usage, that alert will ping me from an email or a text, or I might receive a voice call that says that. So if I misunderstood,
That's the customer, right? They can set that, the customer,
Yes.
not you, the
Yeah,
customer.
because I guess more on our side, when we set up, does it take like, for example, if I have 80 gallons, is my usage per day or whatever, does that go into their system saying that that is what the average was before here, now we can track it?
there'll be some opportunity for us to look at demand and set some parameters so we can monitor the system, but there's going to be some different tools that will allow that. But I think for us, the biggest thing is being able to notify somebody if there's a toilet leak or something that's an anomaly that's going on that should be looked at. Doesn't mean that everything that comes up as a red exception every single day is something we need to go out or call somebody on.
Because
They
once we
will have an average established.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
And
Yes.
so what they can do is go in and determine over how much of that average do I want to be notified, you know?
Yes.
Is it another 100 cubic feet or is it 1,000 cubic feet?
So after you get all 8,500 installed, you're not going to get 8,500 notifications that these are all high usage because zero usage.
I gotta say, it would have been nice 2 days ago because I had a valve in my crawl space that broke and it started spraying water out in my crawl space, and I had to have it all cleaned out. It would have been nice to have that
Great
notification right away saying, hey. So I didn't go for a whole day.
You can do that, yes, with this new system.
Awesome.
New is good.
Well, Jeff, we all know that not only you, but your staff and city clerks, everybody's put I know all you guys have put a lot of time and effort, and, you know, it's a pretty big spend, but I think we're going to save our community. Like I said last week, we're going to save water, hopefully, and save money in the end. So I think
Absolutely.
I think it's definitely worth it, and well overdue. So, any other?
I just had two quick questions. One, you know, if we're measuring everybody in the city every 4 hours versus 15 minutes, and you know, it's awesome that we can look at the usage on hourly, daily. It's actually nice because right now when we get it, we get sort of the 12 months, but we don't get the month to compare to the exact same month the year before to see if
Well-
that jumps up or not. But
We've
have it.
recently done that.
Yes.
So take another look. It's there now.
But it's,
Oh, is it?
but this would be great, but I wonder just, with that amount of information, is that gonna be stored forever someplace, or we store it for 2 years and then we dump it
It's 2 or 3 years in the cloud.
2 to 3? I just wanted to,
Yes.
you know, 10 years from now, can we go back and look at my water usage from 10 years ago for a 6-week period or something like that?
I believe we'll have the ability to go back and look at some of that data. I need to research that a little bit more, but I know as far as, it was like a 2 to 3 year go back and look type.
Just wonder how big a storage it was gonna take
Yeah.
for the system to keep that kind of, track of that kind of records.
Chad's got room.
Chad's got it. And my last one, I just wanted to reiterate, you answered this last week, but I just wanted to put it out there on record again. So we're gonna get all of these new water, it's all gonna be, the system's all gonna be changed, you know, by mid-2025, and they all have a 20-year warranty. And we've got a $5 million bond to pay for all of these. And in 20 years, that's their sort of maximum warranty when they're all supposed to go out. So we could end up needing to replace the whole city within a year. And so we need another big bond, or will this be spread out over a large amount of
It can be
time?
spread out over time. I don't expect that every meter will end on the exact date in 20 years. You know, there's going to be some differences there. But what's important is to make sure we set up a meter replacement program where you budget every year to turn through a certain amount of meters. And that's where on our capital improvement plan, when we look further out into the future, we budget for that in the future. So that's the plan.
Thank you very much.
All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes 4-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Progress. We had progress this month. Last month, whatever month it was.
Good afternoon, Colin Belzer, Deputy City Manager. So, 5th and Santa Fe, there was an ADA sidewalk repair that happened at that intersection. Also in the 500 block of West 16th, the Service Division had to replace some street panels after a water main break. The alley behind Gella's, there was a section of pavement that had failed, so we went ahead and replaced that. And then the service division crews assisted the Union Pacific Railroad in making repairs to the railroad crossing at Commerce Parkway. This actually used 10 tons of asphalt in order to help complete that project. Doesn't look like it from the. Also at the 100 block of West 4th, there was some reconstruction of pavement. This was done in partnership with the developer of the new apartments at 4th and Fort. Some street pavement repair need to be had after a water main break at 13th and Eisenhower. And the same at 13th and Holmes. There was a great turnout for an open house event at the new fire station. The Hayes Fire Department will host another one later this summer. They have told us the neighborhood's been very, very welcoming, and they actually have a new kind of like fire safety house that you can see in the photo that little kids can go through and learn about fire safety. Sunrise Rotary Club held a ribbon cutting ceremony highlighting the improvements they helped make to the Iki Park ball field. These improvements included a backstop, concrete benches, street, and red infield material. Staff have established turf grass and removed some dying trees along the east side of the soccer fields. This area was originally wood chips when the complex was built, but would constantly get washed out when there was rain events.
Very nice.
Staff has been repainting handicap stalls and sports courts throughout the parks. And at Mount Allen Cemetery, they've been planting various plants like marigolds and other flowers. Our Hayes Police Department spoke to cross-manufacturing employees about active shooter safety on June 3rd. It's unfortunate that we have to do that today, but it's very nice to know that our Hayes Police Department and other emergency responders can practice and know exactly how to handle a situation like this and communicate to the public.
Do they do it often?
I don't know how often they do it.
I'd be interested in knowing how often they do that. That's great.
We can find out.
Bike Patrol Ethan Henderson he was with some 12 and under Hammer baseball team at the Bickelschmidt Sports Complex. They were playing there as part of the USSSA baseball tournament.
You know, Colin, go back to that.
Yeah.
I've been out to the ball fields quite often, and I see him out there. I see him down at the farmer's market, and there's so many positive comments from the community just seeing him out there. And I think that's great what he's doing. I mean, I know it takes extra time for him to be out there, but I think it's a great thing he's doing for the community.
We'll pass that on. Water Resource Maintenance Crew responded to and repaired a water leak at 13th and Holmes Road that you saw the pavement repair for earlier. And then they also had to replace a service water line at the 1100 block of East 15th Street due to low flow water pressure. And they replaced a fire hydrant at 13th and MacArthur. The 4-H Water Ambassador Program, which helps train teens from Ellis and Barton County on topics of water quality, conservation, and careers, which then they go out and present about what they learned to other various groups. On late May, they were taken on a field trip to focus on water issues in western Kansas. They toured some facilities in Scott City and Garden City, including their water plants, the Richardson Zoo down in Garden City, the Extension Center, the golf courses down there, city water departments, and then they also gave a presentation to Finney County 4-Hers. As part of the K-State 105 Know Your Water project, Alex Stanton, who's a graduate teaching assistant with the Department of Horticulture and Natural Resources, assisted our water conservation specialist, Holly Dickman, with landscape irrigation efficiency assessments for those that requested them. And so this assessment included an overall review of the irrigation zones, pressure management, and then a catch can test for each zone. Alex will provide a short written report for each, and then we'll provide that information to the homeowner. Water Resources Department, along with Stormwater and KSU Watersheds, hosted the Larks game on Wednesday, June 19th. And on June 4th and 10th, our CVB staff helped with Fort Hays State Summer Orientation. They passed out over 600 welcome packets. And on June 5th, Janet Kuhn assisted with registration for the Parkinson's Foundation informational meeting, which was held at the Rose Garden. Meeting planners told staff that the Hayes meeting had more attendees than their Kansas City meeting. which may lead them to plan more events in rural Kansas. On June 6th, Melissa Dixon presented at the International Town and Gown Association Conference in College Park, Maryland, along with Anthony Fox and Drew Gannon from Florida State University. Tiger Fitness Center. Their session was titled 9/11 Memorial Stair Climb, a multi-generational tribute event that centers on history and wellness. Explained how FHSU's 9/11 Memorial Stair Climb event exemplifies ITGA's core competencies and how attendees could create a similar event in their communities. Melissa also gave a presentation at the Hayes Public Library called Adventures in Your Own Backyard. They once again set up their chalk art station at the Union Pacific Park during the recent summer art walk. And then you may have seen these enhanced signs going up and around town. So this is the first phase of the city's comprehensive wayfinding signs. They were originally installed in 2009, and many sign panels have begun to peel and fade. A few had signs, panels that were completely missing. So thanks to Public Works crews who are helping install the 30 new signs.
They look good.
J-Corps continues to make progress on the 2024 Waterline project. They're currently on Walnut Street, roughly between 12th and 13th Street, and they're about 45% done. As of last week, Morgan Brothers has completed 28th Street, reconstruction from Oak to Fort, and the county assisted Public Works in chip sealing East and West Frontier Parks and Bickelschmidt Sports Complex. So on the left is obviously 28th Street, and the right is example of the chip and seal. The Worth Utility Extension, so the water service installation portion of the project is complete, and the sewer line has been run under I-70, and it's about 50% complete. Recently, the department heads hosted the annual Employee Appreciation Picnic. And then at the airport, staff have paved some parking stalls adjacent to aircraft hangars that for tenant vehicle parking. These spaces are included in the total square footage rented by the tenant. So it does make the hangars more valuable, clearly. And then airport and CV staff work together to promote advertising opportunities at the airport. Posters were installed that highlight top destinations out of Hayes, as well as information on how businesses can advertise in multiple areas of the terminal. In addition to this advertising, there was information shared in social media campaign and through Chamber of Commerce channels. So, any questions? It's a lot.
Thank you, Joel. Next, we have Hayes Happening and upcoming events. Melissa Dixon.
Hello, Commissioners. Melissa Dixon from the Hayes Convention and Visitors Bureau with some things happening in July that I want to be sure you're aware of. Expedition Dinosaur is a fabulous summer exhibit out at the Sternberg. If you haven't been, check it out. But in addition to that, there's fun weekly programs that you can find on their Facebook page. Out at Bickelschmidt Sports Complex in July, there's another USSSA Western Kansas Battle on the Plains softball tournament. This one, they're expecting about 60 teams. And I did want you to know that CVB picked up the tab for the 2 USSSA umpires for their tournaments in June, because we want them to feel the love when they are in Hayes. There's also going to be a Wild West Cup soccer tournament on the same weekend out at the sports complex. Wild West Festival is coming up. So the 4th falls on a Thursday. So the concerts will be Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. You can get your $30 passes ahead of time at the CVB, cash only right now. But that $30 ticket, if you get it in advance, gets you into all 3 nights of concerts. The fireworks will be on the 4th, the parade, and a 5K will be on Saturday. Headliners, we need to know that. Are Nate Smith, Sawyer Brown, and Quiet Riot. I think it's going to be a good turnout. Ellis County Fair, July 12th through 20th, a whole week of activities, including races out at RPM Speedway, rodeo complete with mutton busting, and a big monster truck show as a finale. These tickets are also available at the Welcome Center, and they are only $35, and they get you in for the whole week. July 13th is the 5th annual Tour de Capellan. If you're not familiar with this event, it's a tour of the historic churches of Ellis County on a bicycle. They'll start down at Municipal Park, multiple routes around the county. You get to choose your mileage. And right now they are just shy of 200 registrants.
Oh, they went over 200.
I've got to get updates from Kate. We've got to get ready.
I think it was 275 yesterday.
Really? Fantastic. The Fox Theater is going to have two shows that are actually already sold out. What is this Bowling for Soup band? 2 shows sold out. If you know Phineas and Ferb, they did their theme song.
I love that.
So just be aware that there will be a lot of people downtown for these concerts.
No,
Front Door Friday Night will be hosted at the Hayes Fire Station number 1 on Main Street, July 19th. That's the 3rd Friday, so look for that to come around all summer. Hayes Larks, can't believe we're already talking about their final home game. That'll be July 22nd. They have 10 games in July, so get out there for free baseball. Hayes Community Theater will present Once Upon a Mattress, which is a comedy musical based on the Hans Christian Andersen fairy tale, The Princess and the Pea. This will be one of their bigger shows, so it'll be over at Beach Schmidt Performing Arts Center last weekend in July. Then Bazaar on the Bricks will be July 27th, starting at 7 a.m. Any business can pop into this for a nominal fee and set up a tent or a booth or a table. And it's free for nonprofits and school groups. So let your organizations know that they can use that as a fundraiser. There's so much more than this. I can go on and on. There's free outdoor movies at Creekside, free live music at Paisley Pear 6 nights. And the Downtown Hayes Market is going strong on Saturday mornings. But you can find all this on our website at visithayes.com. It used to be under calendar, but now we are streamlining some things and getting organized on that website. So now it's under events.
Makes sense.
Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you, Melissa.
You.
Commissioners,
Yeah?
you got anything else?
Oh,
I know you got something.
I don't know what you're talking about. I say, thankful that we've gotten some more rain, and I see the maps, they're getting less dire than they were a year ago anyway, at this same given time. So hopefully we keep getting a little more rain tonight, and it might make it look like a nice beginning of the summer. I just want to say that I had a chance to have lunch with the new paleontologist who's going to be at Fort Hayes and at the museum. She and her boyfriend came to town to visit, and it was cool because they went and checked out the 4th Street apartments, and they rented an apartment there. So it's really
Oh,
cool to
that's
see
good.
that, you know, the impact and the importance of the new building that's going on in Hayes. And and they'll be back in town in August. And it's also cool the impact of the community events. We've got a summer intern at the museum who's from Furman University in South Carolina, wanted to do an internship at a natural history museum. So she's in town, and it's very cool to be able to give somebody that has no idea about the town and give them a calendar of events, and they have things that they can do all the time. And it's very cool to see the excitement of people not from here as to all the cool things that Hayes has to offer.
Don't have a whole lot. Just want everybody to stay cool, stay safe, especially staff while you're out working out in the heat. Take care of yourselves. It's warm and gross outside until it rains. So keep yourself safe.
I think that was a great point you made, Commissioner Barrick. People from the outside just can't get over how much we have to do in this town. My family talks about it. People that see, and we sit in our town and we sit down. We got nothing to do. We need more things for people to do. So we just have to tell our story a lot better all the time and keep stuff in front of us as often as we can, because it's pretty impressive everything that goes on in this community. And I too wanted to thank all our staff that's working out in this mess. I worked the other day when it was 103. I was in my backyard for 45 minutes, and I went in the house, and I thought those poor guys out there for 8 hours a day. So we appreciate it. That's all.
Just got a couple things. I was contacted last week, actually during a meeting. Morgan Brothers, I guess they completed their everything by the school on 28th Street. And sounded like everything went
Great.
good, and want to know if they, he'd heard any complaints. I hadn't heard anything.
No, staff's happy with their work.
And
Great.
they're quite a bit done early, right? So that's good. They've done a lot of good work. I know we had some issues with them in the past, but I think they stepped up, so it's nice to see that. So I also wanted to call out our fire department, police department. Gillis had a fire yesterday, and boy, those guys were down there quick. And I think one of them got a little bit overheated. Everything okay with him, though? It sounds
Yeah,
like?
they actually had a crew that had been training out at the fire training
Oh, my.
facility on a very hot day when the fire call came in. So one of them was taking part in that training, got a little overheated, but he's okay.
And Vice Chief, right? Preston,
yeah.
Deputy,
Deputy.
Deputy, I'm sorry. Preston was saying everything worked the way it's supposed to in the business. Otherwise, it could have been a lot worse. I mean, with all those buildings connected downtown. So very blessed that, they have their standards, what we have to, even though we complain the expense that we have to pay. Very blessed that, everything worked out right. So, yeah, I know we have a meeting next week, but we got the 4th coming up. Just ask people to please be careful and respect your neighbors, because a lot of people have pets, and, these things that go boom scare them. So be careful and have fun. We're adjourned.
Things that go